Up a 16-0 halftime lead, and that was enough. Travis beat Lanier United Burger Center to remain undefeated in district play. The Rebs continue to have one of their best seasons ever. That final, Travis 16, Lanier nothing. Danny Elsner, 24 Action Sports.
Way to go, Danny.
Sixth co-leader, Travis Rebels. The Rebels capped their opening drive on this 4-yard touchdown jaunt by Fred Satterwhite. Travis led 7-0. In the second quarter, Travis on top 9-zip. It's the Rebels again. Quarterback Ronnie Vorndren sneaks in from a yard out, and Travis holds on for a 16-0 win to stay unbeaten in District 26 play. And tonight over at Nelson Field, it was home
and touch and score myself. Well, it looked like a touchdown, but they called that one back too. Didn't matter.
First of all, I've been very fortunate just to be in the big leagues. Secondly, I've had the two best shortstops, I think, that have been in my time in Conception and Triumph.
Rise and shine, catch your line, catch the limit here. Now you're talking fishing, now you're talking beer, now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's, now you're talking beer, now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here.
Just about any personal computer does a better day's work with the help of an IBM Pro Printer. The Pro Printer produces high-speed drafts and clear graphics. It prints with near letter quality and turns out single sheets and envelopes without removing the computer paper. Best of all, the Pro Printer costs less than $550. For a better day's work, get the Pro Printer from IBM for the finishing touch.
Now, direct from the future, comes the Canon T70. The T70, sleeker to hold, simpler to handle. Controls are now touch button. Data now crystal clearly displayed. Film advance now built in. The Canon T70. Now you can capture computer-perfect pictures with the touch of a button. The Canon T70. Touch the future now.
Coming Sunday, November 3rd.
You think this game Doubleday so taken with will catch on?
John Jake's epic story, North and South.
And to Alan Roth and Steve Hurt, our thanks for the statistics as you look at the line score and totals in this one, the night belonging to Saberhagen and Frank White, who tonight drove in 3 runs. George Brett got aboard 5 times. And the final score, 6-1. Tomorrow night, join us, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 4 of the World Series. The probable starters, John Tudor for St. Louis and Bud Black for Kansas City. ABC's exclusive presentation of the 1985 World Series has been brought to you by Chevrolet. It's 1986 at your Chevy dealers now. Live today's Chevy. By Stroh's and Stroh Light. You're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here. By the people at Merrill Lynch, whose resources and solutions make them a breed apart. And by MasterCard. MasterCard International, so worldly, so welcome. Be sure to join ABC later tonight for Nightline, coming up after your late local news, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regular time. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United's the only airline to serve all 50 states.
This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Don't drink and drive. A public service message from ABC.
Spencer for Hire, the series that the Newark Star-Ledger calls the best new drama series of the season. The series that the Dallas Times-Herald calls one of the few legitimate network quality shows. Robert Urich, the man the New York Times calls the perfect television star. And beginning next Tuesday, Spencer for Hire moves to Tuesdays at 10, 9 Central, following Moonlighting.
When I wake up in the morning, JR is always there on K98. JR in the morning. He's funny. He gives away money, and he plays my kind of music. JR and money. That's funny. On K98, all hit music. and more. More fun, more money. And K98's news and morning traffic reports are so good. They win awards, and that's only the beginning on Austin's best K98. I listen.
Sign up for one of the new First City CDs, and you'll get high interest. Plus a highly interesting gift. From a Sony Walkman to a TV or binoculars, a bigger TV, a microwave, a home entertainment center, a sailboat. There's a gift for every CD, from $2,000 all of the way up to $1 million. Nice gift. The new First City CDs. High interest plus highly interesting gifts.
This is KVUE TV in Austin with a reminder. Give your child the greatest gift of all, your time and attention. From 24 Action News, this is The Update. With Dick Ellis, Judy Maggio, Hugh Lewis, and Tim Ross.
The Edwards Aquifer is one of the most important natural resources in Central Texas. And attempts to preserve the aquifer resulted in a court battle between Austin and Dripping Springs. Good evening, I'm Judy Maggio.
And I'm Dick Ellis. For months, Austin and Dripping Springs have claimed jurisdiction over which city will control development over the aquifer. But as Arthel Neville reports tonight, the dispute is over.
With so much development taking place over the Edwards Aquifer, it's very possible for chemicals to ooze into the aquifer and contaminate the drinking water. This is a major concern of Austin and Dripping Springs. What Austin did to ensure protection of the aquifer is extend its extraterritorial jurisdiction to include the land over the aquifer. But Dripping Springs had already claimed this land in its ETJ, so Dripping Springs filed suit to try to block the annexation.
Since that issue arose, we have been working together on the development of subdivision and watershed ordinances that will protect the aquifer.
Carrasco says since Dripping Springs has already enacted those ordinances, and since they are as tough as those that Austin proposed, Austin can no longer claim the aquifer's land in its ETJ. He says the city has agreed to de-annex the contested land.
Thank you, Arthel. Well, meanwhile, opponents of a proposed crude oil pipeline across part of the Edwards Aquifer recharge zone are preparing their case for a hearing before the Texas Railroad Commission. The date for that hearing has not been set, but Bob Branson reports tonight that there are some indications the planning of the pipeline route left something to be desired.
The All-American Pipeline Company plans to build a 1,700-mile, 30-inch diameter crude oil pipeline across this part of Hays County near Kyle. It was moved here after an uproar followed the initial plan to put it in Comal County to the south. That location was over the environmentally sensitive Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. But wait, so is this one. Today in San Antonio, the general manager of the Edwards Underground Water District said he thinks All-American Pipeline meant to relocate the pipeline off the recharge zone, but used an outdated map.
In all fairness to them, they did try to move it in such a manner that it was outside of the recharge zone to the Edwards Aquifer San Antonio pool. They were operating off of information that was on a rather large scale and not specific enough to really define that accurately. So they missed a little ways.
According to Edwards Aquifer maps, the right ones, the aquifer goes from the Rio Grande to near Waco. And if the pipeline is moved off the San Antonio pool, which provides water for more than 1 million Texans, just to the north is another recharge zone. Its name, the Barton Springs Pool. Bob Branson, 24 Action News.
A major revision of Austin's often confusing and conflicting development ordinances is in the works tonight. The hope is that City Hall can streamline all of the development rules and regulations, which vary greatly from watershed to watershed around Austin. What the City Council wants the staff to come up with in another 30 days is a consolidation of current watershed ordinances, as Councilmember Sally Shipman put it, so that the public can pick it up and read what's permitted and what's not in a readable, straightforward language.
What will the town lake of the future look like? Will it be something Austin will be proud of or cringe over? A new plan of attack dealing with just that problem is in the hands of the Austin City Council tonight, delivered by the Town Lake Task Force. The task force took a hard look at the shoreline from Miller to below Longhorn Dam, and in many cases it didn't like what it saw. too dense of development near the water's edge, public parkland that doesn't come close to reaching its full potential. As the report puts it, if current trends aren't turned around, office buildings and parking lots will dominate the landscape, and lack of planning will keep Austin from being called a great waterfront city.
It's a lot tougher to go from that picture that you draw together to the actual follow-through, which gets into legal matters, gets into settling conflicts over land use and negotiating with property owners. That's a big step.
Now, the needed follow-through is why Reese and his task force have asked for another 30 days to come up with some specifics in terms of zoning changes in the corridor.
Tonight, some North Austin residents are homeless after a fire destroyed their apartment earlier this evening. The blaze started shortly after 6:30 at this fourplex on Hearthstone. Firefighters quickly put out the flames, but damage to the building was extensive. One unit was destroyed. 3 others sustained smoke and water damage. No one was injured in the fire, partly thanks to Joe Moreno, a neighbor. He helped rouse residents from the burning building before firefighters were on the scene. The cause of the blaze is still unknown tonight. Elsewhere around Austin tonight, the EMS and Department of Public Safety report a quiet night. The police department and the sheriff's department also say it's been a calm evening. The Buchanan Dam Volunteer Fire Department has started a memorial fund tonight for the family of Marty Dole. The 14-year-old girl was swept to her death at a flooding low water crossing north of Burnett on Saturday. Her remains were found early today. If you'd like to make a donation, contact the Buchanan Dam Volunteer Fire Department or any People's Savings and Loan.
The nightmare of the Aquifer Loro hijacking might soon fade from the headlines, but our government's reaction to the incident will go down in the record books. As reporter Gail Phillips tells us, the administration's retaliation is being praised by an ally as a giant leap toward a more peaceful world.
After the U.S. lashed back against 4 days of frustration and horror dealt to passengers and crew of the Aquifer Loro, the celebration began, and it didn't end at our shores. News that the hijackers had been captured by U.S. military intervention sent a wave of hope to allies in Israel. During a stop in Austin today, Israeli Consul General Yoram Ettinger said the war against terrorism has just received a much-needed shot in the arm.
I think we in Israel became 2 inches taller when we heard the news. We feel that both of us, U.S. and Israel, sit tall in the saddle against terrorism right now.
With one victory under our belt, Ettinger says the time is ripe for strict U.S. policy on dealing with terrorism. And he says it's as simple as the strategy used by American football teams.
If the U.S. would join us and together will conduct a cowboy-like blitz over the PLO headquarters, thereby we may prevent the reoccurrence of Aquifer Loro and other terrorist activities.
I know you can't predict into the future. Ettinger says it's too late to help the thousands of Leon Klinghofers who've been murdered by terrorists, but not thousands more who could be saved by a get-tough policy. Gail Phillips, 24 Action News.
Up next, we'll tell you about some frightening new health statistics.
And on Money Matters, the communication wars heat up as one company sets up shop in Austin.
These days, my shopping time has to count. And Estee Lauder makes it easy for me because I get a 5-piece gift with any Estee Lauder purchase of $8.50 or more. It gives me a chance to try some fabulous products, including white linen parfum spray and Swiss performing extract. What a wonderful idea, and what a wonderful way to shop.
This gift is yours through October 26th at Foley's, Highland Mall in Barton Creek Square.
Your Austin Chevrolet dealers announce a cure for the end-of-year blues. 8.8% GMAC financing on selected 85s. Buy an 85 S10, America's ideal pickup, or a truck-tough S10 Blazer, and you'll get 8.8% financing. This special rate is available on new 85 S10 Blazers, pickups, and other exciting Chevrolet models through November 20th. Hurry! 8.8% GMAC financing, only from your Austin Chevrolet dealers. Chevrolet Country, Henna Chevrolet, and Capital Chevrolet.
To Annie, the garage salesperson of the year.
I can't believe you sold that hula lamp, Annie.
Can't believe I bought it.
Harry's old sweater with all the holes?
Holes? What holes? You bought my sweater?
Julie's trip?
Come on, give me back my sweater.
Well, what's it worth to you?
6 cheese fries, 3 buffalo wings, and your 9-iron.
You bought my 9-iron?
You bought my 9-iron.
Sales is Chili's.
no place else.
I joined the Chamber of Commerce in 1984 when I started my paint company. I've met many of my most valuable customers through chamber functions. In the past year, my business has doubled. I'm convinced becoming a member of the Chamber of Commerce was the best thing that I could have done.
As a new member, I am amazed at all the Chamber opportunities like workshops, publications, and a very helpful staff. The Chamber really promotes the business community, and I couldn't ask for more.
Join the Austin Chamber now. Call 478-9383.
Tonight, there are some grim statistics concerning venereal disease in Texas.
The state health commissioner says Texas had 44% of the congenital syphilis cases in the nation last year. And Commissioner Robert Bernstein says most of those cases were preventable. He says one of the biggest reasons for the problem is that many expectant mothers are not obtaining prenatal care. Congenital syphilis is transmitted to unborn babies from infected mothers.
Travis County Sheriff's investigators say they have little to go on in the recent murder of a man near Manor. They hope tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment will help identify the victim, bring his killer to justice. Here's Officer Tommy Eastland with the Crime of the Week.
Investigators do not know where or when the man was murdered, but sometime between the middle and end of June 1985, one or more persons carried the victim's body into a ditch along Old Highway 20, just east of Loop 212 in Manor, Texas. The body was covered with a green sleeping bag. It would be at least 2 weeks before it was discovered. The medical examiner determined that death resulted from a blow to the head, but the victim also had 2 stab wounds to the chest. The victim is described as a Hispanic male in his 30s, 5'4" and 130 pounds. He was wearing a dark blue long-sleeve shirt, light brown plaid slacks, a dark brown belt with a metallic buckle, undershirt, and jockey shorts.
If you have any information on this homicide or know the identity of a suspect or the victim, call Crime Stoppers at 472-TIPS. That call could earn you a $1,000 reward this week if it leads to an arrest and grand jury indictment. Callers do not have to reveal their identity, and all calls are kept confidential. Crime Stoppers will also pay cash for information on any other felony crime. I'm Officer Tommy Eastland with the Austin Police Department.
Well, profits are down for one Austin company and unemployment is on the rise. Ron Knight is here with all the details in tonight's Money Matters. Ron?
Thank you, Judy. Well, one Austin-based company is reporting increased sales but lower profits. Tracor, an international technological products company, reports profits were down by $4 million for the first 9 months of this year. Part of that decrease relates to a charge of nearly $3 million concerning some government contracts. As we reported to you last Friday night, Tracor is currently suspended from entering into any new government contracts pending completion of an investigation into alleged quality control problems. And Continental Airlines today is reporting a record third-quarter profit of more than $41 million. Company officials say that's the largest quarterly profit in the carrier's 51-year history. And Southwest Airlines had a good third quarter, too. Southwest is reporting a 19% increase over the same period last year. Company officials say this was the first financial period that Muse Air's operations were included. Southwest and Muse merged earlier this year. Well, there are a few more people out of work in September. The Austin unemployment rate edged up to 4.7% from 4.5% in August. However, Austin did lead the state with the lowest jobless rate. But Diane Doby of the Texas Employment Commission says the Texas economic slowdown has had an impact on the booming capital city. The jobless rate a year ago was only 3.4%. That means 5,500 more people were out of work this September than last September. Doby blames layoffs in the high-tech industry and a loss of construction jobs for pushing Austin's rate up. Well, the Texas unemployment rate for September was 7.2% compared to 5.8% a year ago. And tonight, the war between long-distance company continues to heat up. LDS Metro Media Long Distance Company announced the opening of a major office in Austin. General Manager Rick Morehouse says the office is necessary because of increased demand for information services. LDS is currently in the process of hiring 20 new people to run that office. And that's Money Matters for Tuesday.
Thank you, Ron.
Tim Ross has got the night off. Troy Kimball joins us now.
And hopefully this drier weather is going to stick around for a while.
Well, you were outside a little earlier. The moon is even out tonight. Looks like the clouds are going away. We'll talk about a sunny Wednesday. Your forecast is next.
What can you really rely on these days? Your Zippo?
taxes, inflation, 2 plus 2 equals 4, parking tickets, the common cold, Halley's Comet, and Federal Express. After all, there's only one reason to choose an Air Express company: reliability. And that means Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
Recently, a certain jetliner made an unscheduled landing.
What's he stopping here for? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's big.
The reason for the stop? The Highland VIP sale. Right now, get a Samsung wireless remote video recorder, just $257.
Looks like he went to Highland.
Well, at least he's showing fiscal responsibility.
The Highland VIP sale, now through Saturday.
Hello, gorgeous. May I help you?
Yeah, we got some questions.
About our phone service.
Well, that's why the employees of Southwestern Bell Telephone created these 5 free new telehealth booklets on topics ranging from annoying phone calls to home security.
Great.
Just call this number, look for the coupon ad or your phone bill insert. Telehelp. It's Southwestern Bell Telephone's way of saying we're here to help. Say, guys, free for lunch?
I'm Charles Gibson. Coming up on Nightline, billions of dollars are riding on GM's bold experiment in Tennessee, the Saturn, a gamble to reshape the auto industry with millions of jobs at stake. We'll talk with industry and economic experts in New York and Detroit.
Next on 24, following the Action News update.
Troy Kimmel's Weathercast carries the seal of approval from the American Meteorological Society. Troy Kimmel and Tim Ross, your storm team on 24.
Oh, really? Well, late this afternoon, the clouds began to break up around central Texas. We actually saw a little sunshine this afternoon. This evening, we're actually seeing a little bit of the moon up there. I expect the clouds to return before morning, but still a pretty nice day coming up tomorrow. Outside now in Austin, a fair sky. The temperature now falling through 70 degrees, dew point at about 68. That's going to be about all we're going to manage for an overnight low. We'll fall a degree or so lower. 93% on the humidity. Winds are calm. Pressure steady now. At the airport, about 2/100ths of an inch of rainfall today. The high temperature at about 79 degrees, 67 being the morning low. Area lakes continue to reflect the heavy rains from over the weekend. Travis rising through 671.18. Canyon Dam release as of 8 o'clock this morning was 290 cubic feet per second. However, as I told you at 6, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, the horns will go off down there, and they're going to start releasing at a rate of 5,000 cubic feet per second to help get some of that water down the Guadalupe River. They are warning people that are not well familiar with those rapid waters associated with the 5,000 cubic feet per second to stay off the river below Canyon Dam for tomorrow. We start off this evening with an infrared satellite picture looking out at some of the colder cloud tops. You can see only one big thunderstorm in the regional scene this evening. That is west of Natchez, Mississippi. Meanwhile, scattered showers into parts of East Texas. Also some scattered high clouds. These are generally all high clouds, nothing really falling out of this over portions of west central Texas. As far as what's going on in the region this evening, a rather complex map. We have a rather strong trough of low pressure associated with a cold front now moving into the Texas Panhandle. Also, as that is beginning to deepen, of course, it begins to southerly flow and begins to reinforce that. And that old front, which was off the coast, is now moving to the north as a warm front. I expect that to move through the local area before morning, and that will help to bring some low clouds into the area, even though we're fair right now. Notice the strong southerly flow. This front should move down into north central Texas by late tomorrow, but it'll be hard to find if it ever gets into central parts of the state. Temperatures this evening around central Texas are generally in the lower 70s. Notice we've cleared off to the south and west, a few scattered clouds off to the east. My national weather forecast for tomorrow will indicate the likelihood of scattered showers and thunderstorms from the western Great Lakes down to the middle Mississippi Valley. Maybe 1 or 2 scattered thunderstorms into north central Texas. A new weather system over the northwest while rain continues over the southeast. 65 at Bismarck tomorrow, 53 at Great Falls, 67 at Reno, 85 at San Antonio, 78 at Memphis, and 77 degrees around Charleston, South Carolina. Here's my forecast as we see it for Austin. We'll call for partly cloudy overnight. A little upper air disturbance late tonight after midnight may cause a thunderstorm or two. Also, maybe a little fog by morning, low of 68. Tomorrow, after some morning clouds, a partly sunny afternoon, looking for a high temperature of around 84 degrees. Our winds will continue from the southeast, become a little stronger over the next 24-hour period, and the extended forecast calls for partly cloudy skies, a little warmer as we head into the latter part of the week. Highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Something new to tell you about this evening, the 24 weather line, the latest forecast. Give us a call at 451-2424, the 24 weather line, the latest weather information.
Great. Thanks, Troy.
Up next, Hugh will tell us how the ponies are planning revenge on the horns.
And then later in the news, Peter Jones will have his Halloween fashion forecast.
The Greenhouse Mall out-of-season prices are now in effect. Our inventory of Esther Williams pools and jacuzzi whirlpools sold at cost. Remaining patio furniture now at lowest prices ever at the Greenhouse Mall. Woodard, Samsonite, or Lion Shaw, only $298. We will never have these low prices again. And this is your last chance to qualify for a 40% tax credit on our